then I will upload it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another meeting of BlueQuest Toastmasters. My name is Rupinder, and I'm proud to be your sergeant at arms today. So you are now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting. As such, a few rules apply to you. The first rule, and I want to make it a rule now, is to please turn on your video cameras so that the audience is able to at least see your reactions. Rule number two, you all have been muted, but you have the right to unmute yourself. Please do so responsibly. Only when called upon, do not speak out of turn. Last week, I said that God gave us 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. So please employ those 2 ears and do not speak out of turn. Third thing, it is etiquette that when a speaker is on stage, we do not utilize the chat function for everybody. If you want to say something, please say it during the intermittent breaks, or say it one to one to the person that you are trying to say it to. In Toastmasters, we thrive on applauses, we thrive on recognition. So please make sure to make use of these reaction buttons at the bottom. For example, right now I am laughing for no reason, and now I'm showing a heart for no reason. Do not get excited about it. So please make use of these icons. This is an online meeting and you are subject to certain rules as stated by Toastmasters International. Your videos may be recorded and shared at the discretion of Toastmasters International. And by allowing that, you are allowing Toastmasters to record your videos. I will now recite the club mission statement. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. Speaking of personal growth and greater self confidence, nothing boosts self confidence like a good round of applause. So, when I call my presiding or our presiding officer on stage, I want you to do that with a huge round of applause. Please let it be known virtually as well as visually. Let's welcome our presiding officer who's wearing a wonderful colored t shirt today. And for a change, he did not name himself as Shaurya Kakkad. He came here named as Kapil Kakkad. On that note, I would also ask all the role players to please name themselves according to their roles today. But for now, let's welcome our presiding officer and one of the speakers, Toastmaster Kapil Kakkad.
Thank you, Rupinder. I welcome all the guests and the members in our meeting number 505 today. I see that few guests have joined today, and before I hand over this virtual stage to our Toastmaster of the day, I would like to take a quick introduction from our guests, and starting with you, Anand, if you could give us a quick introduction.
Sure, Mr. Presiding Officer. Good morning, everyone. I am Anand and I am a member of Turning Point Toastmasters. Kindly excuse that I cannot share my video sitting here in dark with a charging point. But it's lovely to be a part of BlueQuest meetings every time I attend. I learn something from all the exciting as well as seasoned speakers. Today should be nothing new. Look forward to an exciting time with you all.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you for joining. And Gayatri, could you also share? You are on mute.
I have always enjoyed my experience with Blue Quest, and today I'll be playing Grammarian, so I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Khushbu, could we have a quick introduction about yourself?
Good morning. This is my first proper meeting with the Blue Quest, and I'm a Toastmaster from JEPOC, Jaipur Public Orators Club, and I'm looking for a great learning experience here.
Thank you, Khushbu. Thank you for joining. All right, so without further ado, let me hand over the stage to our Toastmaster of the day, who is Avjinder today. Avjinder, over to you.
Thank you, Kapil. Good morning, guests and Toastmasters. Have you never felt fear? Fear of dark allies, fear of animals, or the fear of infection, or fear of unknown, or more recently, when your Arogya Setu app read you are in high risk. Mine is not saying that, by the way. Or when you get 15 missed calls from your mom, have you not felt fear? When you have to reply to your stakeholder and you're not able to open your laptop because it says password incorrect. That's the fear. Or when you see your message, WhatsApp message from your wife, which says, when you're back, we need to talk. That's the fear. I believe we all have faced fears in our lives. Fear is natural. Fear is powerful, primitive human emotion, which is essential for our survival. It alerts us of the unknown or danger or threat or harm in future that we are going to face. The problem is not with the fear, but when it becomes too heavy on your mind, that's when it clouds your real thought process. Today's theme is about fear, which is natural and plays havoc on our lives. As Susan Jeffers says, is is there something holding you back from becoming the person you want to be? Fear is all around us. Having a tricky talk with your boss or facing a problem at home. Everyone has worries and fears that can stop them from progressing or reaching to their feelings, the real feelings uh, of what they want in their life. The simple life-changing actions that you can take will teach you how to turn your anger into love and uncertainty into certain actions. I, um, what matters is the steps we take to overcome this fear, being positive in our approach and taking the plunge, just like that. More about it when we move along. I'll now move to the Toastmasters pattern. A typical Toastmaster meeting comprises of three sections: the prepared speeches, where a person comes and delivers a speech for which he has prepared, and the second part is the Toastmasters table topics, where a person will give you random topics, and you just have to speak about it on the spot. And the last but not the least, the evaluation section, where there will be an evaluation of the prepared speeches as well as the Toastmasters speeches, and overall about the meeting. So today, the evaluation section is headed by someone who hails from Siliguri and who is a creative writer and even greater speaker. I remember my first days here at Toastmasters, and she delivered a speech about the movie Chapak. It was very heart-wrenching, and I was really impressed by that. With a virtual applause, please welcome on stage Payal Agarwal.
Am I audible, Avjinder? Thank you so much, Avjinder, for those beautiful words. And it really motivates you early morning, and especially when winter has really set in. So that was a real motivation for me. Anyways, good morning, all my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As said, I'm the general evaluator for today's meeting. And as such, I will just explain you how this segment works. Um, I will be headed by a team or by the tag team, which includes the timer, the counter, and the grammarian, who will assist me in performing my role. As far as my role is concerned, I will evaluate the general meeting in the aspects of organization, timeliness, preparation, and performance of all the speakers, as well as the table topic masters, and submit my report at the end. I'll just introduce my tag team to you, and I'll ask one by all of them to come on stage and please introduce themselves as well as explain their roles. Starting with the timer, Urfia. Can I ask Urfia
If you're
to
not here, can you start with the grammarian and then we'll move on to the...
Okay. Yes, I will ask Gayatri, who's a grammarian for today, to come forward and explain her role as well as introduce herself. Over to you, Gayatri.
Thank you, Payal. Hello, everybody. I'm Gayatri, and I'm a member of Turning Point Toastmasters. And as always, it's a pleasure to be here at Blue Quest Club. I'm grammarian for the day. As a grammarian, I shall note down the good usages and not so good usages of language, as well as grammatical errors made by the speakers and the role players. It is also my duty to provide a word of the day. The word of the day is intricate. It is synonyms, it means complex, complicated, something which is little complicated and needs a lot of detail. It is in detail. Synonyms are complex, complicated, tangled, and twisted. I request everyone, the example of this sentence is the intricate board game requires both strategy and precision. Another example would be, it took me months to put the intricate puzzle together. I shall paste this word of the day in the chat. I request everyone present to acknowledge the usage of word of the day with a thumbs up. I will submit my report in the evaluation session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gayatri. And now, sorry, now I would like to call upon the accounter of the day, who's Ruchita, to come forward and please explain her role.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to count. I'm the R counter of the day, and like I will be counting the number of R's in your speech throughout the session today, and will be sharing my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much. So that was all about my role as a general evaluator. Once all the prepared speeches and table topics are done, I'll submit my report. Thank you so much, Abjinder. Over to you.
Thank you. So do we have any timer for today? Anyone wants to volunteer for the timer?
Kushbu, do you want to be a timer today? Kushbu, do you want to be the timer? Otherwise, I can be the timer. Or Sumit, do you want to be the timer?
Urfia.
Urfia
has joined, yes.
So she's the timer.
Hi, Urfia. We were just, talking about the timer role. So can you explain your timer role, please? All right, let's just move on. So with that introduction of the general evaluation team, let's move to the first section of the Toastmasters. In today's session, we have two stalwarts of Blue Quest Toastmaster team, two of my favorite people around here. And the first prepared speaker is someone who is like a Rahul Dravid of Blue Quest Toastmaster. He is Mr. Dependable, a CA by profession, a man who has helped me and many of my colleagues with their returns or any financial matters since the time we have known him. His courage and confidence and his overcoming of the fear is shown throughout our journey in his speeches. So please, he's none other than Kapil Kakkar. Before I call Kapil Kakkar on virtual stage, let me call his evaluator, Nimisha Singla, to read out his objectives of the speech and the purpose. Nimisha.
Today I'm going to be the evaluator for Toastmaster Kapil, and he is going to attempt a speech of level 3 with the objective as persuasive speaking. The purpose of this project is for member to understand the types of persuasive speeches and deliver a persuasive speech at a club meeting. So with this, I wish all the very best to the speaker, and over to you, Mr. Toastmaster of today.
Thank you, Nimisha. Let me present to you Kapil Kakkar, persuasive speaking agile. Kapil Kakkar.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Abjinder. All right. So there is a new buzzword in the market these days, and I'm sure that you guys must be hearing it from here and there. And that word is called agile. Now, what is agile? This all started in early 2000 when a group of 17 software professionals met and discussed how they can speed up the software development. They identified two key aspects to it. One was how they can shorten the time, how they can shorten the delay of delivery, delay of benefits to users, and second, how they can quickly get the feedback from their stakeholder so that necessary iteration can be made and a good product can be shared with the users. Now, agile is a project management approach where teams divide the task into various stages, and each stage with the iteration is developed. This speed up the whole process, and the end result is that you get a good product in the end. Now, agile is the idea of getting there in short iteration. The key objective is fast delivery and a quality project. One always challenges the existing process and tries to improvise it every now and then. There is a approach called Kanban in agile that is very famous, and it was developed in Japan. This was developed by an industrial engineer in Toyota, and as per Kanban approach, this is a visual approach of project management where teams are asked to put their task on a whiteboard through sticky notes or some online apps like Trello or Mural. They can, so in this approach, people put their task like what is the backlog, what is stopping them to go ahead. So everybody identifies their backlog, and people in the team tries to help them so that nothing stops work and things can be delivered on time. Now, I know that this is a very complex things to understand in 5-minute session, but I would like to explain it through some simple example, like how agile approach, or rather how a simple approach helped us to achieve some desired results. We all conduct surveys and participates in surveys, right? Now we all conduct surveys and participates in surveys. With that, you know that we all conduct surveys and participates in surveys. Okay. And so a lot of time is spent on putting down questionnaire, that what types of questions should be asked from the users, and at the same time, at times people do send reminders to the team to get their input when people do not respond. And third, a lot of time is also wasted on compiling those results. Now, agile suggests a very simple approach to this particular problem, which is called mood marbles. Now, what is mood marble? Mood marble is a simple technique. Now, imagine a scenario where a trainer is presenting something. Now he wants to know that what is the feedback of his attendees. Now the first way that he can do that, he can float the survey, get those inputs, then send reminders, get the inputs again, then compile the result. But this will take some time. Hours will be spent on this whole exercise. Now Agile suggests a simple approach, which is mood marble. As per this approach, two kinds of marbles means the small glass balls, are kept at the exit gate of the conference. Now attendees are requested to put those mood marbles in the empty jars, depending upon how they felt about the training. Now if you felt good about the training, you can put green color marble in the jar. If you felt not so good about the training, you can put the red color marble in the jar. Now at the end of when all the participants have given their input, it is the quantity and the color of the marbles that can determine how people felt about the meeting. So you get the result there and then. It's a very instant approach. Now the other example that I can quote here is from our banking system. Now remember the time in 1990s when we used to go to the banks and stand in the queues to deliver a check to the banking clerk. So imagine at a pan-India level how many hours were wasted in that simple trivial thing. Now banks moved to agile approach when they adopted Dropbox system. Now the ultimate aim of standing in the queue was just to get that check over to that banking person. Now with bank moving to that Dropbox system, we can easily put or check in the Dropbox system, and bank can at its own convenience can collect the check. That is another one agile approach. And third example that I can quote is from our daily life, that we all go to restaurants, right? And when we finish up our meal, we know that at times restaurant staff come to us with the feedback forms. How did you like our food? How was the service? How was the hygiene of the restaurant and all? But now compare it with Pizza Hut. In some outlet, I have personally seen that Pizza Hut has at the exit gate of Pizza Hut, they have a bell, and over the bell they have a signboard called "If you had a good time, please ring the bell." That's it. I don't recall a single instance where I skipped ringing that bell if I had good time. So yeah, so that is again an agile approach without knowing that we are practicing agile here. So in the end, I would like to conclude by saying that keep practicing agile in all walks of your life. It is not that intricate or complex solution bring solutions. Simple approach like agile or some simple techniques can bring desired results and quick action. With that, over to you, Timot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kapil. It was really a very intricate subject, but the way you have explained it with the examples, it was amazing, amazing. Now we move to the second prepared speech. The person is someone who is heart of this club, a rudder of this ship, if I may say. We have faced fear in public speaking many times, but he has, as an elder brother, he has guided us and made us see the glory on the other side as a confident speaker. Before I call the speaker on stage, I would like to call his evaluator, TM Anant, to read out the speech objectives. Anant.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Our second speaker is attempting to learn the intricacies of speaking professionally. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing and presenting a longer speech. Timer, please note time is 18 to 22 minutes. All the very best. Over to you, Abjinder.
Thank you, Anant. With that, I'll hand it over to DTM Surendra sir What a professional speaker, Surendra.
So you're on mute.
Hello, guests and Toastmasters. What a wonderful day today is. And I think one of the things that all of us at Toastmasters keep looking at how we can enhance our expertise and skills in public speaking so that we can graduate into being professional speakers. And in this effort, I will be talking about some of the skills required when you would like to make this transition. We all look at some of those things that we could define as attributes of how you can speak very well, understand what your audience wants from you. How would you connect with the audience? And at the same time, how will I, as one, be able to support or enhance the message that I would like to leave for the audience? To be able to do that, you would have to learn some of those very intricate but very important part of how we would like to express ourselves and build ourselves so the attributes that we need will be taken care of. To me, the first is building a credibility, and that comes from your experience. When you're speaking to an audience, it's very important that you let them know that you know about the subject that you're delivering. Why would someone come and speak to you or listen to you if they're not going to gain something out of your experience, your understanding, and your perspectives of various things that you talk about? So to me, credibility, and this credibility will only come when you have gone through the whole issue, and when you're building a topic, how much you have researched and how much can you bring in your personal stories which you could deliver to people and people would learn from it. Then I would also talk about the expertise. Here again, it's your life experiences, your academics, and the amount of research that you have done. Your experience, life experience, would need to come from various areas. Small anecdotes in your life, some stories that you can bring to them so that they can identify themselves very well with what you are presenting to them. It's so important that they understand that you are coming from a point where they can learn from you. A professional speaker is one who presents that confidence to the audience and makes them feel that you are a part of their entire audience and they are actually taking so much learning from you. And when I say confidence, you have to be well prepared. If you will notice, when we are in our Toastmasters meetings, a lot of us come and deliver speeches with a lesser amount of preparation. If you're not preparing yourself, you will not be able to present the information, and you will lose out on some of that vital research that you have done. So you will be confident when you are knowledgeable, you're well prepared, and of course, deliver a very, very strong message, which will be something which the audience will take back what you're presenting. Now, sure, credibility, expertise, and then confidence, and maybe connection with the audience. That brings that fundamental confidence in them, because then they start understanding that you are open and welcoming to them, and you are giving away knowledge which is now available to you. And that becomes the source of their coming back to you repeatedly, because they are now getting more and more knowledge through you. And that is where your entire credibility goes up. But as I said, how do you apply all these attributes? So I'll try to attempt to be able to tell you how people like our good friend DTM Rupinder Singh, DTM Anand, or our very, very good friend DTM Deepak Sharma, and many such people have graduated from these club level to organizational level, and then now become professional speakers who are doing very well from themselves. And how are they applying these small attributes which make it so big for them? The first one, which you will notice with a professional speaker, is how do they present their story? Let me tell you, we all are so inquisitive about what is happening in other people's life. We all want to know what's happening in the other person's life. And when a speaker comes and gives you a story from which they have learned, which has a message, which has something for you to learn from them, that gives you a winner to start. The first thing that you need to look at story is one singular earth-breaking event that has happened in your life. It could be a very minuscule thing which starts off, but is very vital for you to start looking at how life works. And when you have years of experience and you use one of those stories of life, and when you look at your experience as a leader, time spent in the field, and you're looking at how colleagues behave, how an employee behaves, how you volunteer for a particular thing, it all gives you so many authentic and credible stories which you can share with people and they learn from you. Now, having had a story for yourself which you could present, you will have to now think about what sort of an expertise that you want to build around it so that people can be totally focused on what you are trying to tell them. I think a lot of us become good speakers or professional speakers by working on various things. But some of us are put into a corner where we suddenly realize that we have to speak in front of an audience. My first experience in life of being thrown into such a situation was many years back when, as a member of a cultural organization, we had the privilege of having Ustad Vilayat Khan to attend one of our programs. And about 5 minutes before the program was to start, the president of the club came to me and said, "We are in effect. The MC of the day has fallen sick and someone has to conduct this program." Yes, I knew a lot about Vilayat Khan, I'd heard about it, but I had not prepared myself. And I was thrown into a situation where I had to conduct that entire 2.5 hours program. Right? I went up on the stage. Whatever I could, I delivered. I had not been a Toastmaster at that time, but I realized when I completed that assignment that I had actually realized that there were a lot of things that I had to learn. And therefore, I had to go to a drawing board. And Toastmasters was the forum where I could use them. So I joined Toastmasters. But as I said, I was invoked into that particular position. And I had to get a benefit which I did not realize. Some other programs, people had heard about my being the MC. Cutting the story short, I started getting invites from people on a paid basis, and I started becoming a speaker. And then it gave me opportunities to move from there to become a keynote speaker. I became a TED speaker in one of the places, and it helped me in getting my own confidence up. So, ladies and gentlemen, professional speaking may happen, like suddenly it happened to me, but I was not prepared, and I had to therefore go back and grind myself through learning some of those beautiful aspects of trying to be a professional speaker. I learned at a very early age that if I had to be an expert and the expertise had to grow, I had to research on all the topics that I had to do. Just like I did some research on today's topic. And this has become a guiding factor for me whenever a speech happens. And whenever I talk to people who I expect them to work on some of the speeches, these are the aspects which I really look forward to. The other is, a lot of times you are talking about a particular aspect of life experience. So it's important to define certain aspects, certain jargons. Let me give you a small example. If you were in today's context hit by the pandemic and you're hospitalized and you want to talk about this to your audience, but just mentioning that this is what happened, I felt like this, my senses went down in the sense that I could not smell things properly. I could not taste things properly. I used to get a headache. I had a loose stomach, and I had high temperatures. Everyone knows about it. But when you explain to them various jargons that these doctors talk about, jargons which are just taken by the reporters and put in the newspapers, you don't know what they are. You need to define them, explain to them, so the audience understands the whole aspect. And this happens when you research. You need to give them some suggestion that when you get the first impact, these are the medicines that you need to have. This is how you could do a simple thing like taking hot steam, breathing it every day, morning, afternoon, evening, can help you in avoiding this epidemic. These are the aspects which build the expertise, the confidence, and your credibility to your audience. And I always believe that everyone talks about it, but you, as a speaker, when you bring a unique perspective into this aspect, which people will remember, something which is totally different from what is being told in different forums. That makes that major difference of, again, proving that you're an expert on what you're talking about. I believe another aspect, which is something which we all as speakers have to understand, is the demographic of the audience. What is the age group? What is the place that they are? What is the group dynamics? What are the political and religious affiliations that they have? How are they? How can they adapt to different things? What is their educational background, economic status, their employment? I think that helps you in building a rapport and communicate with your audience and put across your message very well. Again, confidence. Preparation. I keep repeating this word. Preparation is the cornerstone of good speeches. If you prepare well, it will become the fundamental of public speaking. If you're unsure, and it happens quite often, because you get rattled by the audience, the place that is, it's not working, you can use your postures, your tone, your voice, and modulate it to be able to at least cover up some of those glitches and other things that could happen. But the root of it is writing a compelling story, a compelling speech, where the opening is so strong that people remember it. How many of you remember that winning speech of Rupinder, the opening and the end? That made such a powerful thing for people to remember. That is what is important. And of course, practice, practice, practice. There is no substitute for practice, believe me. Practice everything. Practice the place that you have to do it. Practice with clubs, groups, organizations, your workplace, wherever you get an opportunity. Because our good friend Rupinder will tell you that the world speech that he made those speeches at least 100 times at different places. And at every time he took feedback, looked at it, incorporated it into his own speech. And that is where the winner comes. And then tailoring the speech with the message that you would like to give to your audience. Sometimes you have to make it on the fly. So be aware of your demography, the type of audience you have, and hit on it. And as I said, collecting feedbacks for each part of your speech. The opening, the body, the closing, every part can be broken down and you need feedback. And that is what, after you incorporate it, you have a winning speech. Lastly, how do you market yourself for all this? My first suggestion is have a website. Have a website in which have a few of your speeches given to live audiences. Take testimonials and put it up there. And don't forget to give your contact details, because prospective clients, they don't have the contact details, will just not look at you. Next is network. Very important. Network with your professional speaker community, because they will tell you where the opportunities exist. Network with potential clients. And finally, promote your skills. Prepare a catalog with your skills and accomplishments. And do a search hire process easier. This will help you to make it much easier for your potential clients to be able to look for you and find you and know who you are. And finally, don't forget, friends, there is a lot on the website, but you have to do your own research. All the very best, and I'm looking forward to all these 15 people who are here becoming good, excellent professional speakers. Over to you, DMOD. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Surinder sir. It was lovely. It was wonderful. Preparation is one thing that really helps us to overcome certain fears. Now we move to the second section of our Toastmaster meeting. The second section is the table topic section, which is headed by someone who loves to travel. Her sense of humor is just out of this world. I've listened to her deliver some really exceptional speeches and innovative speech styles. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DTM Shipriya Gauri to do the honors.
Thank you, Mr. TMOD. A very good morning to one and all. It's my pleasure to play the role of Table Topics Master today at Blue Quest. The objective of this session is to develop your impromptu speaking, and I'm going to put a challenge to you all this morning. Today, the table topics will not be specific sentences, it would not be a phrase, but a part of a famous song. The objective is not to know the song. The objective is not to try to recollect the song, but to interpret it and deliver your table topics. Each and everyone would be giving a speech for 1 to 2 minutes. You are required to speak for minimum 1 minute and maximum 2.5 minutes. We have our first speaker over here. I have identified the first speaker. May I request distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh to take over the timing lights only for the first speaker. Once you're ready, to let me know. Okay, he says 1 minute, I believe. So since I have requested distinguished Toastmaster to take the timing lights, you all would know who would be my first speaker, which is Toastmaster Urfia. Thank you. Rupinder, otherwise you could use the chat window, or I mean, I'm sure by the time you have 1 minute you'll be able to set the timing. And are you there? I couldn't see.
You can do that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Toastmaster Orphea. The more you see, the less you know, less you find out as we go. The more much. Okay, so let's just have these first two lines. The more you see, the less you know, the more you find as you go. Toastmaster Orphea.
Can I please ask you to repeat that one more time?
Sure. Toastmaster Orphea. The more you see, the less you know. The more you find as you go.
The first thing that pops up in my head when I hear this topic is Toastmaster Rupinder's speech last week when he said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. It reminds me of that because when I hear the line, the more you see, the less you know, the more you want to talk, the less you will know because you're not listening. So the more you will listen, that is when the more you will know. The second line was the more you will find. That brings me to the second line. If you are talking less and if you are hearing more, that is because you are listening to someone else and really actually listening and not listening to reply, that is when you will find more things rather than just keep talking and not listening. So when I hear these two lines, I don't know the song, but this is the first thing that pops up in my head that brings me back to the speech last week, if you have heard from Rupinder about active listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Orphea. This is a song this is a song sung by the band U2. And the name of the song is Blinding Lights. It goes like this: the more you see, the less you know, the more you find out as we go. I knew much more then than I know now. So thank you so much. It was a lovely attempt and it was a beautiful interpretation. Now I would like to go to my second speaker of the day. Do we have Toastmaster Khushbu in the room?
Yes, Toastmaster Shivpriya, I'm here.
Thank you so much, Khushbu. So Khushbu, I'm going to give you my favorite song today to you, and it's just going to be a couple of lines. You could say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Toastmaster Khushbu.
You could say I'm a dreamer. Can you repeat it again once
Sure.
again?
Toastmaster Khushbu, you could say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. You could say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Toastmaster Khushbu.
You could say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Yes, the craziness of opening up a drama studio in a city where there is no drama studio for children is a dream, but I'm not the only one. I have met people in my life who have seen the craziest of dreams and they have fulfilled it. And today, when I look back at my journey, I was a corporate. Then I was a loving wife. I'm still a loving wife. And a proud mother. Then I discovered that I can be a storyteller and I can be an educator. I can handle children. And this was my dream, in my distant dream, that I could be an educator. But today I'm an educator and I realized that dream of mine. Now there is one more dream to open a drama education center in my city only for children. And this is a dream which is really crazy with no funds. And you know what? I got funds from a company all over in Germany who has come to help me. And today, when I was introspecting, wow, is my dream really coming true? Am I on my way? So yes, you can say that we all dream, but I'm not the only one who dreams of such distant and impossible things. In fact, I heard one of the Toastmasters in one of the meetings, that nothing is impossible. I am possible. Over to you, Toastmaster Shivpriya.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Khushbu. That was amazing. I'm sure John Lennon would have been More than happy to listen to your words. And as mentioned, this is a song by John Lennon, and the name of the song is Imagine. It's one of the top rated songs throughout, I think, centuries. It's overall number 3 across the world. Thank you. So do we have Toastmaster Sumit? Are you there?
Yes.
Lovely. Toastmaster Sumit, I have another song for you. Sumit, I could walk 500 miles, and I could walk 500 more. I could walk 500 miles, and I could walk 500 more. Toastmaster Sumit.
Thank you, Shivpriya, for giving this intricate topic. But the simplest thing that is coming to my mind is, I think I have walked 500 miles when I'm talking to you and right now, all of you, and I have still a lot longer way to go from here onwards. And at any point of time, when we say something that we have done something in the past, I think we should always think that it is just the beginning of something new. Because at any point of time, life starts from where we are at this point of time, and today is a new beginning. If we think every single day that I'm going for a new something, achieving something new, then that's really opens up a lot of perspective and lot of uh, lot of way forward for us, that every single day we can think of it as a beginning, and there is a lot of that we can achieve going forward. So I think I have walked 500 miles already, and probably 5,000 more miles are still there, and it's just the beginning of a new start. And with Toastmasters, I have realized that there is something more that can be done in life, and much more happiness can be derived from meeting you people. Thank you. Over to you, Shiv.
Thank you so much, Sumit. I am sure that Robert Frost would be more than happy to listen to yours, but somewhere it started with the brand and you took it to in a much more poetic manner. So I have the last topic for today, and may I request George Wilson to give it a try. George, are you there?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. George Wilson, country roads take me home to the place I belong. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. George Wilson.
Thank you. Sorry, can you repeat that for me, please?
Sure. George Wilson, country roads take me home to the place I belong. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. George Wilson.
Thank you. I believe that we all come from different parts of the country where we will never forget where we were born. We will never forget it. Now, these roots that come from the ground make us strong. There's no matter what place or country we may head to, we will always remember that the road back home is always there. Take me home. Country road, take me home. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Josh. That was indeed a great attempt. Is it your first table topics?
Sorry?
Is it your first table topic speech?
It is.
That's
is my
amazing.
very first. Thank you.
That's amazing. A round of applause for the first timers who are here, who have taken the courage or who have the courage to give the first table topic speech. Congratulations. That was indeed a great one. And I'm sure John Denver would love to hear your point of views about Country Homes Take Me Home to the Place I Belong. That concludes the table topics section for today. Now I hand it over back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you. Those were lovely topics. And as expected, innovation is something we always expected from your table topics, from your speeches. And that's what we got today. Those were lovely. Thank you, Shiv. So moving back to the theme of the day, how many of you have watched the movie We Bought a Zoo? All right, great. I think many of you have already watched that. So it's about a real life about a real life story of Benjamin Mee, an ordinary person who buys a zoo and brings it back to the lost glory it had. And I remember one of the dialogues in the movie where he says that sometimes all you need is 20 seconds of insane courage, literally 20 seconds of embarrassing bravery. And I will tell you something, I promise you, you great will come out of it. So this is this is what inspires me also, that the first step is the most difficult one. And that's where this 20 seconds of bravery rule helps you. Sometimes we are afraid of the consequences, sometimes we are afraid to take the next step, but that's what is required. I remember when I joined a previous organization and I got to know about a role, and I was afraid to call, I was fearful to call one of the senior leadership leaders there to ask about that role. And then I remembered to myself that, okay, 20 seconds is all it takes. I called this person directly, and I mean, he was really nice to me. He linked me to the person who is in charge of this role and explained to me how I can approach for this role. That was amazing. And at the end of the call, he told me that, okay, I mean, I'm really happy with your confidence level, and I got the role. So I think I was when I was trying to call up, I was fearful, but the first steps that you take with some courage are always helpful, and it gives you some glory at the end of the event that you want to. Now, moving back to the third section of our meeting, that is the evaluations. And let me call upon stage once again, Payal.
Thank you, Timur Avjinder. And so before I submit my report, let me just start with how was the overall meeting. It was a wonderful meeting in terms of performance. And before I really submit my report, let me call my tag team who has been helping me in doing this. So starting with the timer, Urfia. Can I ask Urfia to come on stage and give her
While we
report?
start with the speech evaluation.
Okay. Starting with the evaluators for the prepared speeches, can I ask the evaluator for couple's speech to come forward and present her report?
Thank you so much, Madam Journal Evaluator. I would really like to congratulate speaker to complete this project, and I have a good list of commendations today for the speaker. Let me start with the part where he started with a question that actually grabs the attention of the audience to him as a speaker, and it is one of the best ways to start with us in a speech. Moving forward, the delivery was clear in terms of words and thoughts. And I believe the speaker has quite a good of experience, I will say, in Agile. That has come up as a strength of the speaker. And also it displays a confidence of the speaker with the content. Speaker has had appropriate pauses between that, and everything comes up with the confidence with the content once the speaker is portraying. Moving to some areas of improvement, I will say, now I believe is the filler which speaker has used many a times as a connector between the sentences while transitioning between the sentences. Now was the word which I could hear, right? I didn't keep a count, but it was there. Second thing, although the speech was prepared, it looked prepared, but a little less rehearsed. If the speaker could have rehearsed a little bit more, and then it will also help him where he got stuck in between. So if a little bit more rehearsed, it will take this speech from it is here right now. I cannot reach to the next point. I could say it was a great speech, and all in all, the speaker explained this intricate system of agile in such an easy manner by giving examples, and that is how we imprint the message we want to deliver with the speech. So kudos to the speaker, and do make me evaluator next time if you deliver a speech. Thank you. Over to Madam Journal Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Nimisha, for that report. And now I would like to call upon our next evaluator for Surinder sir's speech, Anant, to come forward and please submit your report. Please give the evaluation for Surinder sir's speech.
Thank you so much, Payal. And I would begin this evaluation by reiterating my earlier request in the previous sessions. Let's stop calling each other sir, because that puts us in a difficult situation as an evaluator. So I will make an attempt to evaluate DTM Surendra with that regard. Of course, he is a person full of wisdom, and all this content of his speech was highly relevant for all of us and full of practical tips and tricks as well. So as a professional speaker himself, I would rather focus on the opportunities to improve for him so that he can get the maximum out of this speech experience. Starting with the opening. Now, I personally loved the opening, how he delved right into even the opening part as a tip for all of us. I would, however, give him just two elements over there for him to ponder upon, since the session is being recorded. One is, this wasn't visible throughout the session, but in the beginning, he kind of looked down like that. I would rather encourage him to keep these supporting notes rather in front, so that he just have to glance like that and not completely look down, because that diminishes your impression as a professional speaker who is going to speak for 20 whole minutes right there in the beginning. Second is, I found this was too long of a context setting. Maybe in the first 30 seconds, you straight away give us what you are going to speak about and not stretch it to like 60 or 90 seconds, because then some audience members may switch off their videos. You can't resist that. So you want to maximize involvement of most of your audience member in the first 30 seconds itself. And it wasn't just the opening part. I feel somewhere in the whole speech, the structuring, the way you had scribbled your notes might have an issue over there, because it took me some pains to know when you are moving from credibility to expertise to confidence to knowledge to preparation to anecdotes to networking. Like, there were so many things. It may have been structured here, but when you were delivering, it would make sense if you give point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. Lastly, the next. It doesn't really help me out visually, since it's a long speech. Every single point could have been better explained with some kind of anecdotes or examples. There were a few, like the way you shared that brilliant experience of emceeing impromptu in Ustad Vilayat Khan's concert, and also the way you highlighted a fellow member Rupinder's examples of a preparation part. They were really considerate, really inspirational. However, it was too less, too few. I would suggest you involve more for each point, or rather minimize the number of points to 4 or 5 and have more examples rather. I have now a challenge for you. I know I'm running short of time, but I want to leave you with this example because this is not just for you, this is for all the audience members. Whenever you are supposed to show by example an expertise as a speech project, I would encourage you deliver a topic, imbibe that expertise into that, tailor into that, and show by example rather than giving an education session about it. Because what you know and speak versus what audience absorbs and internalize, there is a wide gap. To minimize that wide gap, let's make it conversational. Let's make it more of an example over something different than making a speech project as an education session about it. I saw the same thing with a couple of other speakers, eminent speakers previously in the last 2 weeks. Here was my one single suggestion to them as well. So I'm sharing with you as well. Otherwise, every time I interact with you, it feels like I am taking a glass out of a fountain of wisdom. And I just cherish our interactions and experience. And this speech was nothing short of that as well. Wish you all the best for your future projects. And with apologies on the timer part, I'm handing it back over to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Anand, for that informative evaluation, which is the takeaway for all members of Blue Quest Toastmaster Club. So moving on to the tag team, I would now like to call upon the timer for today's meeting, Urfia, to come forward and please submit her report. Over to you, Urfia.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. May I request to share my screen, please? So for prepared speeches, speaker number 1 took 7 minutes 42 seconds, speaker 2 22 minutes 25 seconds. For table topics, these are the timer reports. For evaluators, Nimisha took 2 minutes 23 seconds, evaluator 2 4 minutes 58 seconds. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Urfia, for that report. Next is our accounter of the day, who is Ruchita. I would now like to call upon Ruchita to come forward and please submit a report. Over to you, Ruchita.
Thank you, Payal. Thank you. Okay, so I'll start with Avjinder, and in his speech throughout this session, it was 8 hours and 5 filler words. Couple speech, 2 short pauses, 10 hours. Surinder sir, I hardly observed any hour during the speech. It was 1, I think. Shivpriya, no hours. Urfia, 2 hours. Khushbu, 4 filler words and hours. Sumit, 2 filler words and 4 hours. George, 3 filler words and 1 short pause. That's my report for the day.
Thank you so much, Ruchita. Now we have our grammarian of the day, who's Gayatri. I would ask Gayatri to come forward and please submit a report. Over to you, Gayatri.
Thank you, Payal. So today's session had some wonderful language usages in it, and most notable were move to an agile approach. I don't recall a single instance. Made us see the glory on the other side. And I was particularly impressed with enhance our expertise and skills, attributes that we need, applying the attributes we need. You will lose out on some vital research. There was another interesting use of language, which was grind myself. Preparation is the cornerstone of good speeches. Get rattled by the audience. First thing that pops into my head, for him to ponder upon, maximize the involvement of the audience, rehydrating from my previous session, and there were a lot more. As far as not so good usages are concerned, in the beginning it was said that word is called. So instead of saying that word is called, we can say that word is, and the word. Putting down a questionnaire, it would be more like putting out a questionnaire. They are taking so much learning from you. Instead of that, you can say they are taking so many lessons from you. Understand whole aspect. Instead of whole aspect, considering that we are talking about aspects which are in multiple, we could say understand all the aspects. At every time he took a feedback, instead of using the preposition at, you could just say every time he took a feedback. Company all over from Germany. Instead of that, you can say company all the way from Germany. Lot of way forward for us. I think it would be more, it would be a better usage if you say a long way ahead of us. Quite a good of experience in Agile. You could say quite an extensive experience in the field of Agile. As far as grammatical errors are concerned, there were a few errors in the third person singular context, wherein the third person, along with the third person singular, the S was not added to the verbs. Like this speed up the process, this speeds up the process. In some outlet, at some outlets. What is stopping them to going? What is stopping them from going? There were some prepositional mistakes which were found. Hours will be spent on this exercise. Hours will be spent in this exercise. At a pan India level, instead of that, you can say on a pan India level. So slight prepositional mistakes and slight third person singular mistakes. Over to you, Payal. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gayatri, for that report. Now I'm all set to present my report as a general evaluator for today's meeting. It was indeed a wonderful meeting, and a big applause to all the members as well as the guests to help to make it happen. Now, starting with the Toastmaster of the day, the Toastmaster carried the meeting flawlessly with his preparation. The theme of the meeting was really interesting and uh, well constructed. Uh, then, moving on to the prepared speeches, the performance of both the speakers was fantastic in terms of content as well as delivery. But however, I would like to give a special mention from Shorinder Sir's speech, which can be a takeaway for all of us at Toastmasters on how thorough preparation of our speeches can help us build our confidence gradually. Then we had the table topics master, who did a tremendous job with her lyrical topics, which had really set the mood of the meeting. Thank you, Table Topic Master, for such a fantastic performance. Then we had the Table Topic speakers, who did an amazing job as well. Now, as a general evaluator, then I had my tag team, which gave the most precise and perfect report. The evaluators for both the speeches gave the apt report adhering to the CRC model, which we always like to follow at Toastmasters. Now, as a general evaluator, my role compels me to give a few suggestions. So please take it in a positive spirit for the betterment of our club. Number one, starting with the sergeant at arms, which I myself is, I would request myself to please be on time to perform my role and not make this as a habit. Secondly, I would request all the members who are joining the meeting to please keep their screens on, continue keeping the screens on while someone is delivering a prepared speech, because that is a major source of encouragement for the speaker. Thirdly, I would request everyone to at least give some signs of applaud or acknowledgement while the speaker is delivering his speech, because they have really worked hard towards it. So they need that appreciation from our sides as audience. Technically, everything went fine without any glitches, and that is actually again kudos for that. And lastly, I just had I have one more suggestion. If we could all lift up the enthusiasm of a meeting by some means, so that because the meeting happens just once in a week, and if we could be more cheerful and about it, I think we would have great meetings in the future weeks. Thank you so much. That is all I have from my side as a general evaluator. Over to you, the Toastmaster of the day, Abjinder.
Thank you, Payal. That was really honest feedback, including about yourself and about all of us. Thank you very much for that. Now, before we move to the conclusion, I would like to say a couple of things. One is that fear is something that always bothers us. So during the fear, courage is something that is feeling the fear, but doing things anyways. Attempting to do anything that we haven't done before is very uncomfortable. It's usually scary and always worth it. Now, whenever we see some kind of threat, let us not be a deer stuck on the headlamps. Let's move on. By being a deer on the headlamps, we'll end up dead. But we have to think about what we need to do next. And like Surendra sir said, that preparation is something which will get us out of it. Preparation is something that will help us overcome the fears. And fear disappears in the midst of action. Better version of you always awaits on the other side of the fear. So let the magic happen, and you will discover a new you on the other side of the fear. Thank you, and I'll pass it on to the presiding officer to take it over and for the close of the meeting. Over to you, Kapil. Thank you.
Thank you, Abjinder. So before we close today, I would like to take a quick feedback and next week's role. So I would also like to welcome George Wilson. I think he has joined this meeting for the first time. So George, we would like to hear from you on the about the meeting's feedback.
I would also request you to vote.
George, can you hear us?
Sorry. Yep. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know from your side that how you felt about the meeting. Any quick feedback from your side?
Oh yeah, just amazing. Amazing just to be a part of the group. My first ever group I've joined, and I know that from this point on, it's just going to build my courage, my self-development skills, speaking in public. So thank you very much for that. I'll definitely be looking forward to doing another. From now on, carrying on with you guys, with you Toastmasters. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, George. Looking forward to see you next week. Gayatri, can we have a quick feedback from your side also?
I always enjoy the Blue Quest meetings, and today was exceptionally educational experience because both the speakers had chosen the subjects about which I knew nothing. So it was a very, very informative session for me, and I enjoyed the table topic session. I mean, it was a wonderful idea to give the sentences of a song. So that's the crux of it. There is something new every time in the Blue Quest meetings. And that is why I look forward to them. Thank you,
Sure.
Kapil.
Thank you so much. Ulfia, over to you.
Thank you, Kapil. Experts have always recommended to never start a speech or anything, but today I feel I am obliged to do that. I am being the time more. But as always, I love the space provided by Blue Quest. I love coming here. I'm looking forward to improving on that in future. Thank you.
All right. Looking forward to see you next week as well. Khushbu?
It was a great learning experience. I love the table topics, and I've learned for the first time that you can also introduce songs into a table topic, and that was a great takeaway for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Anand?
Hey, as always, it was a fantastic time for me here as well. Lovely listening to Surendra's speech. And I would just close this feedback with one request, highlighting once again, let's stop embarrassing these two gentlemen by calling them sir repeatedly. Let's not call them sir. Kapil, over to you.
Point taken. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rupinder sir, are you done with your survey report? Agile way.
You just called him
Sorry.
sir.
Yeah. It will take some
Almost
time.
there.
All right.
Anand, that's just a mark of respect. They never demand from us. We just give it as a mark of respect to them.
It actually is what we practice here. We actually deliver it out in the outside world. So if you practice calling people sir here, out in outside world, I have been in a few situations where people have got offended by that. That am I too old? Are you mocking me? Are you being sarcastic? So like that.
Okay, we'll surely work on it. Thank you.
Or shall we take up next week's role then, till the time Rupinder is getting ready with his report?
Rupinder, you are on mute.
Avjinder just sent you a message. Please respond on chat.
Responded. Already responded, sir.
Secret talks.
Yeah.
So whom are we waiting for?
Next meeting roles. Meanwhile, he is going with the certificates.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Who wants to be the team mode for the next week? Anybody? Any guest would like to volunteer?
Well, why
Sure.
don't you be the team?
Sure, I can take it up.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. G, general evaluator.
Anant, you're taking up T-Mod next week.
Unless you are taking up.
No, you take it up.
Or Rupinder, we decided in our
Let's
meeting
have
last
table
time
topics.
that shall we have table topics?
Yes, let's have table topics.
Yeah.
But even then, we need a keyboard, no?
Right.
Yeah.
You want to have only table topics next week?
Yeah, that's what we had agreed.
The table topic marathon.
Okay, we can do that. Let's do that. Then
No
I'll
prepared speech.
No prepared.
Then you don't need a TMOD, right?
Yeah,
you
You
don't
can
need
have a
TMOD.
simple host.
You don't
Host
need
come table topic
TMOD.
master.
I'll just need a couple of speech evaluators, so I'll take Sharinder. So we can make Sharinder sir the table topic master. He gives the best table topics, and we can have Anant and myself as the speech evaluators. We can do that.
Yeah.
If you are with
that would be.
you will get.
Okay, and then we are left with timer, accounter, and grammarian.
We can have one timer. We don't need an accounter and a grammarian.
Okay, so the three roles there are table topic master, speech evaluators, and timer.
Yeah. And timer is also not required to give a report. We'll just have.
Yeah.
And who will be the TTM?
You
are
are.
the TM.
Me?
Yes.
You were just shuffling around your couch
Yeah,
when he announced you as the TTM.
Meanwhile, Khushbu has requested for a speech slot. Since we are not having meeting next week, can we block her for next to next week?
Khushbu has requested
And Ruchita as well.
Ruchita has also requested. So
Okay.
Kapil, just note that down for next to next week.
Sure, sir. Sure, Rupinder.
I can be the timer. Even I will also get a speech slot. I mean, table topic master, table topic speaker slot.
Timer for table topics or timer for
Yeah,
the next
table
week?
topics. Yes.
Okay.
I'll play timer for Nimisha.
Okay. Thank you.
Rupinder, you can smile.
Yeah, I'm trying to generate the certificates. They're not working. Otherwise, I'll simply have to announce the results. Okay, let's try it one more time.
And Sumit, will you ask your dear wife to also join in the next meeting?
afraid that next week both of us would not be present. We have some arrangements.
क्या करते हो यार बेचारी को एकदम आउट कर दिया तुमने
She'll join. I like mention that she'll join.
I like your confidence with which you're saying that she will join.
That means he will not join.
There is a star mark in the corner. Conditions applied.
We have to read behind the lines.
Guys,
I
we
just
have to
like
get more members to join in here. A lot of people are not joining in. I think we should personally talk to them and get them done. I mean, even though there is so much of work pressure, but I think they have to find time to join.
I'm not sure whether I'm right or wrong, but right now Toastmaster Rupinder is looking like a lost child. He is just looking at something and is looking like a, but where?
हो गया? Okay, I'm ready to share my screen.
Okay, great.
I'm ready to embarrass people now.
Encourage people.
You asked for it, I did not. Right, so let's go with the best speaker. Uncontested largely, yeah, and overlooking the fact that Kapil went overtime. Even then, Shorendra sir emerged as a clear winner. Let's have a round of applause for him. Best evaluator goes to Nimisha Singla. And permit to be very frank, Anant insists on hitting himself in the foot time and again with respect to time. And I'll have to start naming and shaming him because he will really have to take care of time going forward because it's the third time that he's gone over time. Next one, the best table topic speaker. I don't know how you do it, but probably I'll learn a table topic speaking from you, Urfia Abdul. Huge round of applause. Then a best auxiliary role player. The butler did it again. And I will not tell you what is the story behind the butler. You'll have to reach out to me one-on-one for that. But it is the grammarian Gayatri Deshmukh. And I think this is her first time playing as a grammarian and getting the award. Well done, Gayatri. And last, but by no means the least, the best role player. Attempted this role for the first time, I think, and got it absolutely right. Nailed it to perfection. Great mentoring by, excellent mentoring by Distinguished Toastmaster Shorendra Bhaumik. Many congratulations, Avjinder Singh. Very well done. Your certificates will be emailed to you. Avjinder, can I have a Gmail ID of yours if you are on Gmail by any chance? Please share it with me. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, I would like to send you my Gmail because none of those
I have your Gmail ID, sir. Are you saying that you're not receiving them?
I'm not getting any of them.
Just check your spam folder, sir, because
I've checked them. They're not there. So मैं भेज रहा हूँ आपको नया वाला भेज रहा हूँ.
Okay.
नया या whatever is there, I'll send it to you.
Cool, because according to this, I have, I mean, the certificates have gone to you.
Can you just tell me later on what is the email address?
Sharendra.56@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll check that out. I don't think it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. And I am sending the certificates again. If I get an error, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much again
Cool.
for this amazing meeting.
Okay, then next week table topics only, and Avjinder and Kapil and Shorendra sir, let's and Shorendra, let's do some serious PR within IBM so that we get as many people as possible. I mean, last time I did this thing in Embark, and Urfia will tell you what happened. Actually, she joined the club after that, so let's make sure that we drive membership through this effort. So
And
let's
are we also keeping it on Wednesday or
let's keep
Saturday?
it on Wednesday. Let's keep it on Wednesday. Let's keep it on Wednesday. we'll do a table topics marathon next week.
Sure.
Okay. Sharinder sir, be ready with your topics.
Ample
sir.
amount of
No,
topics.
sir.
Okay then. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you, everyone.